and welcome to this week's It's a Sure Thing, the community collective show where we feature individuals and businesses making a difference in the community and supporting, uplifting and helping each other, and doing this by leading by example and inspiring others. So tonight, wherever you're watching from, please share this link with your friends, invite your friends to join us, and let people know that we're going live right now. You will be able to watch the replay if you aren't able to attend. Please say hi. Fiona Cross, she's just come on board. Hi Fiona, excellent, lovely to have you here. If you want to just comment where you're actually listening from, that will be great too, because this is a global collective show. We live stream across 50 different TV channels on demand, and so many other places as well. Marie, hi Marie from Mildura. It is Mildura. No, it's Golgol, isn't it? New South Wales, Golgol. So this evening we have got a very special guest tonight who is based in the Riverland region in Glossop. And this particular lady is an absolute powerhouse of creativity and energy, and she's got the most beautiful heart. And she has a art and soul studio in Glossop in the Riverland. You may, if you've been to one of the Enlighten Adelaide festivals in 2019 at the Convention Centre, you may have seen this lady who, we'll talk about that later. And also at the Riverland Wellness Festival, you may have had a session with the beautiful Suzanne Macpherson from Zuska Art and Soul, Zuska's studio. Did I say that right, Suzanne?
Pretty good. Zuska, yeah.
Yeah, I really shouldn't have even attempted it, to be quite honest.
Because, you know, it's okay. Whatever works for you.
So welcome, Suzanne. Thank you so much for joining us from the Riverland tonight. Thank you. So can you just share with us a little bit about what you do? Because there's a lot that you offer.
Yes, so I was actually a bit overwhelmed about that this morning. I'm thinking,
yes.
But so I do offer a lot of things over the years. I've picked up a few skills and tools and things, and basically because of my background and having experienced trauma, I started to actually use art and found art as a therapy for me, and then that kind of built. So I use what I call my creative flow process with people. And I've got different stages of that process that I do with people. But included in that is movement meditation and sacred sound and light language. I actually call it soul language or universal language, because when I do the sound healing or balancing on the table for people, all sorts of sounds and come and languages come for that person. So, you know, yeah, so it's kind of not the same language all the time. It's always different depending on who I'm with. So
okay, so I just want to touch on that a little bit, because I know for 15 years ago, if you'd have said that to me, I'd have gone, what on earth are you talking about? And because I have experienced what you do and experienced a lot of other sound therapists as well, when you say light language and soul sound and that kind of stuff, does that mean that you actually talking in some ancient wisdom that's come through you and you channel it kind of thing? Is that how it works?
Sometimes it can be, but to me, it's also many aspects of me and ancient wisdom, yes. But it depends on what's coming, you know. It's for me first and foremost. It started to help me to heal myself and my body. Not that I've totally healed. I'm still, you know, I'm a work in progress, and I don't, you know, I think that's an ongoing thing. But it did start, with me, and then progressively I've helped others with it, but also to help them with their own language to actually activate their own soul light language. And that happened for the first time at the one of the festivals that I think your festival.
Enlightened Adelaide, when you got on stage.
More and more, actually. And so it was something I didn't even know was what I was doing, but apparently I was. So we went.
Who really knows what we're really doing?
No, we just don't really know.
Game of life.
And it's sort of some people know the language and what it says and all that sort of stuff, but I've always been shown that it's through my heart, and it's got to stay away from my head, because I'm an overthinker and overanalyzer. So it's been a whole journey to allow it. And you know, after the festivals, I had a bit of a mini meltdown, because I thought, oh my God, all this stuff and all this, what the hell, you know. And so I had to kind of really embody it and really process it, and really make it my own for me, and really it's not about understanding it. It's about really allowing it and feeling it. So I say to people, you know, you won't necessarily understand the language, but it's actually what I believe is what in a language that we used to use as a collective, and we all used to understand each other. And because when I speak it to people, there is a part of them that just feels like they've come home, like, you know, and yeah, it's like a remembering for people, and often they feel it in their hearts. They often cry quite deeply, you know. Often I bring the grandmothers through, Lemurian grandmothers sometimes, you know, sometimes the grandfathers, you know. So yeah, it just depends what the person is. And also what I want to also say is, what's something that I found at the festivals is when it did start to open up for me, and sometimes, you know, a transformation would happen right there and then. People would start looking at me going, oh, wow, look what you did. And I said to them, and I really want to make this clear, that it's not me doing it. It's a co-creation. Our essences merge, and you know, whatever you need, you allow, and you know, you're part of that process, you know. So I just wanted to really reiterate that, because, you know, I don't want this kind of, I think we're all equal. We all have different gifts and abilities, and, you know, so yeah, that's something important I felt like I wanted to share. So
no, it's a really good point, and a valid point, because when somebody's ready to allow that, to receive that healing or energy or whatever you want to call it, it is them who embodies it. You facilitate that space, you create a sacred space, and at your studio, that's what you do. You've created this beautiful, amazing space in your studio where people can just totally relax, and then whatever needs to happen for them, you just trust in that. And you also use your art therapy to help them with the different colors and color therapy, and it's a lot. I know it's really hard for you to succinct it into one little thing, because it's like so massive.
I went through a stage where I just couldn't put it into words, and when it first all came sort of together, I was told it was beyond space and time, beyond words. So what I just used to say, and I think I'd like to say it eventually as well, I just do stuff, and whatever needs to happen, you know, is what needs to happen with you. But because I think more and more people are starting to pick up on the energy of the practitioner or the person, not necessarily so much what they do, but they just know that more and more people are starting to trust that knowing that they have, and they just know, oh, I feel like I need to speak to them, or I need to see them, or, you know. So
they're drawn. It's an energetic. It's an energetic exchange, and they're drawn to you like a magnet, aren't they? So yeah. Beautiful. So yeah, it was a really interesting experience to watch you at Enlightened Adelaide Festival, where you just said to me, oh my God, I've got all this stuff that's happening. And I said, well, why don't you get on stage? And I went and got Pina from Icy and Crystals, and she basically held your hand and took you on stage, and you just let your voice express the way that it was just absolutely incredible.
If you had have seen my face when that first came through and I knew I had to do it, I can't remember the lady's name, Christine, I think it is. She does singing and sound, and I was standing right in front of her looking at at Pia, and all of a sudden it landed, and I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Because I was really just following guidance the whole time. You know, you mean I've got to make a crown? Oh, and it's got to have a throne. Great. You know, it was just constantly this whole thing that I just felt really like I surrendered to this inner guidance. But this particular day, this inner guidance said, you need to go up and sing on stage with Pia. And I don't hear it as a voice saying that. It's just this guidance. I can't even explain it. It's a knowing, and you know, everyone knows there's all different ways. So I went to you and I said, you know, this is, you know, what has to happen then. And you were all so fantastic. But it, you know, as I was going up to the stage, I think I've told you this, I was clearing the energy of going up to the gallows. You know, it was this dreaded, you know, but at the same time I was excited, but yeah, I was also clearing that, you know, that timeline that I was, you know, heading up to the gallows. So, and Pia was fantastic. She was very like supportive and generous with, you know, her time and everything like that. So yeah, it was a confirmation, I suppose, that I wasn't actually going crazy, you know, not totally crazy anyway. We all have a bit of crazy, don't we, you know, but
crazy. I only like crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm biased.
And then, you know, because you did that, all of a sudden everything just opened up, you know, because I've found it hard to be who I am because it is so much, and I have felt like I'm too much, and you know, that's been part of my journey.
Keep being too much, darling. Keep being too much. Own it.
I'm learning to get better at just, you know what, this is who I am. You know, even with my family, all of that, I'm learning to laugh at myself, not be so serious about it, but just be easier about it. You know, just
absolutely.
Be easier. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you for sharing all that. I will just acknowledge a few people because Ros Boundy has said, good day, everyone. Hi, Ros. And someone said hi from Woodside. I would assume that's Matthew. It just says Facebook user. So hi, Matthew from Woodside. And I was just sharing before we came live with Suzanne that you both will probably get on really well at the Riverland Wellness Festival. So that is the next thing, just briefly, I wanted to touch on, because you will be coming as an exhibitor again at the Riverland Wellness Festival on the 2nd and 3rd of April at the Renmark Hotel. And you'll be doing lots of, well, people can come and sit in your throne and then let the magic happen. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. So, hey, just try it. Just try it. Just come along and just let yourself be whatever you need to be in that moment with your guidance and your support and finding peace. Now, the title of tonight's show is Finding Peace in Challenging Times. So can you just explain to us how you actually find that peace when you're stressing out, when you're feeling anxious? How do you get that peace? What can people do that are listening to get that peace?
Well, I have to say, the last couple of days have that whole thing has been tested for me. Okay, just so we're clear.
You and I.
I'm not a techy person, so getting this organised but I'm glad I learned things and we're here, and that's great. But for me, especially last year, but all through my life, I've had difficulty with anxiety and depression, and because I've had lots of stuff happen, like all of us. And, you know, coping. But one of my main coping mechanisms is obviously art and creating art myself. And I had to do that last year through some, you know, fairly difficult times with my mum having cancer and my kids having a major car accident. So I had to find this kind of, and you know, I started to do this series, and it was a journey. I didn't know where it was going, but it ended up being called the Equilibrium series. So I was finding balance within the chaos, you know, and I was halfway through building my studio, and there was mess everywhere in the back veranda because it all had to come out so that, you know, and so I went out and there was mess everywhere. I'd made mess everywhere. All the paint was going everywhere, but I just needed to have this expression. It really, you know, helped me. And obviously sometimes when I paint, I sing as well and do sound. The breath is really, just taking a deep breath, and movement, to move. Sometimes you get that tight feeling, or those feelings in your gut, or that get stuck, and I often just wriggle and move, and that helps. But in my studio, I've been doing a lot of movement meditation with people, and I've been really enjoying that. I just had one on the weekend. And one of the big philosophies that I really find is important is for people. A lot of the processes I do, there's an aspect, because if they feel safe to do so, if they feel comfortable to do so. So even when they're moving, we get them to close their eyes, and the lights are off, and we've just got fairy lights on, so it's dark. And we've got the music, and so you change state. You go into your zone. Because I want people to really focus on themselves and not worry about what anyone else is doing. And we do that too when we do the creative therapy. We get them to close their eyes, and they close their eyes, and they choose the colours of the pastels with their eyes closed. It's a fascinating thing to watch as a group, because sometimes people can't, use the same colour as what they're wearing. Sometimes the whole group resonates, and they have similar colours. But it's all about really just finding your own space and your own peace within. And meditation in different forms I show people. So we sit and do guided meditation, but we also do guided meditation and become the tree or the bird or whatever's. And on the weekend we actually growled as tigers, and we roared as tigers, and we howled as wolves, and we made bird sounds. It's just what came, and everyone just was comfortable to do so, because nobody can see anybody. We're all just doing our thing, and they really, really enjoyed it. And I never know what's coming, so it's just whatever is perfect for them. I love what I do. I feel so excited that I've got a space to do it now. And the gallery side of it, the art side of it, is what I would call a sensory gallery. So I encourage people to touch my art, which you don't get in any other gallery that I know of, because I use a lot of texture, a lot of found objects, a lot of nature, and I just love. I'm a very tactile person. I love touching texture and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the difference in my gallery, is that people feel like they can feel at home. It's not a typical sterile gallery space, a studio space. Everyone that comes in says, "Oh wow, this feels so homely," and So I'm really excited that I've been able to do that. So
lovely, thank you. So if people if they can't get to your studio, how can they find peace within themselves, just at home? Can you offer anything that they can do to find that?
Well, what I encourage people to know is that any sound that they make can help them. So you don't have to make any fancy sounds. Toning, just any sort of release in the shower, in the car. If you're feeling really kind of anxious, breath, going to the breath. I mean, everyone would have heard this, but it's just a go-to. Just slow your breathing, relax your shoulders, speak slower. All of those things. Sometimes, if you can, to close your eyes and just go within and allow yourself to be still.
Beautiful.
Just allowing the silence sometimes,
Well, now might be the perfect time to just take us into a little experience. So whilst everyone's just a little bit settled, we'll ask you to just connect in and you can just receive.
Okay, thank you. Sire krotoja mai to narashi Marasarasio. Marasoro. Oh, oh, ooh, ooh, oh, pero marai, pero marai. Skromhala darashiana, ksonarashita karati, kwanarashia tukuma, kwanarasare tikira umole larishi. Alela, alela kambe sara, umanana ponarasisi. Kureta la kirama, toma shela la kina, kumala, kumala kana, kumala kana.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. When you first started that, my heart just went ping, and I could feel like tingling all down my body. And that's clearly the bit of the healing that was going on. Yeah.
It's different for everybody, I find. Like everybody has a different experience of it, you know. So, and I have a great experience too. I'm tingling as well. So, you know, yeah, it's a win-win.
Well, just to watch that, Suzanne, and to hear it, and that, oh my God, so beautiful. Yeah, Adair's just put how beautiful, and it really was, and you could see the transformation in you and the actual just lighting up. You can actually see the joy in your whole body with the movement and the expression, and it was just pure delight. Pure delight. So if anybody's got any comments that they'd like to make, my cat enjoyed that too. Thank you. Maybe that meant to say my cat. Who's the Facebook user? I don't know who's put that comment up there because you haven't given us permission. I think it's Simon, though. And I think he meant to say my cat enjoyed that too. So thank you.
Sometimes my cats enjoy it as well. So, yeah.
So you've got a special offer happening to everybody that's listening tonight or that is watching the replay. It's an introductory offer of an online sound balancing session for $45. What a bargain.
Yes, it's 50% off at the moment, just to introduce what I do. I've done a little bit online here and there, but it's a bit different in that it's a bit similar to what I do on the bed. And you lay down on your bed or you sit on your chair or whatever, you're at home, you're comfortable. And we go from the feet up through to the crown and back the other way. And, pardon me, whatever sounds come, pardon me, I'm releasing, my husband would be laughing at me because I'm doing this because he's, you know, I try and tie my hands together here, but... Yeah, but yeah, whatever.
I'm using this with my hands because I'm the same.
I've never thought of that. I should carry one around. But it's part of how I express. So hey, let's just be honest, you know. But yeah, so this will it's an experience that you've just felt, but in a, you know, it's an hour that we have a little introduction and have a chat, and then the sound itself takes maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on what comes through and what's for them. Often people will have their own visions. They'll have one lady on the weekend, she had her, amazing experience with, a direction she was given. And I never know what's coming. So I let go of that totally. It's for them. But yeah, people have lots of different experiences, and I clear energy, release energy on their behalf, but with them, sort of thing. And it's always for them, from them, and about them. So
yeah. In total service, you're there for them. They're on their throne, and they can have their royal experience of whatever that needs to be, and also you help them to find their unique creative voice and expression within that.
And that's the thing I think is important, is that I'm not doing it just to them. I'm doing it with them, like we said, but also, I'm more excited about them finding who they are, not showing who I am and what I can do, but who they are. And because when I see them light up and when I see them connect, and sometimes they're actually from trauma, what I found at one of the festivals, people can have ADHD, or they can have all sorts of things, but I've found, if they're rushing around, they're not, they're a bit scattered. Often it's because they're not in their bodies, and because they've had trauma, they've disassociated. I've been there, done that. I know what that feels like. I'm sure lots of us have. Yeah. And this particular lady, I just did language here, whatever came, and it just weird. I just spoke to her and really looked in her eyes. I do an honouring with people too, and it's just a beautiful, loving, open heart expansion, and they get to see who they are, and she just clicked into her body. Her eyes changed. She just was there, totally present. And I do believe that, when we can really just allow ourselves to really come into our bodies and just be in our bodies, where we can find safety, and we can find that in our imagination. If we don't feel safe in our environment, that's what I do with people too, is help them to use their imagination to find safety and find a safe place and a peaceful place within them, so yeah.
It sounds beautiful, and I'm so excited that you'll be with us at the Riverland, and it's going to be the most amazing weekend. And yeah, you are just a very, very special soul, and I thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I hope that people will get in touch and just experience that, just out of curiosity, if nothing else. But just do something different, because it is different, it's unique, and I love that. And I love that about this show, that we just try and get as many unique different things out there, because it all helps the collective.
Absolutely.
And it's identifying that uniqueness within yourself, and then that gives permission to someone else to be unique, and then it's just like we're all uplifted. Isn't that the whole purpose?
It's a win-win for everybody, isn't it? Exactly.
Absolutely. So people can get in touch with you, Suzanne. You have got your listing on the Global Wellness Directory on social.com.au. Woohoo! Well done.
I might have to make a few tweaks, but yeah.
That's okay.
We got there.
And people can find you at Zuskasart Soul on your Facebook page as well.
And you can go to my just Suzanne Macpherson page, and you can there's a link there for Suzanne for Zuska's studio. And Zuska, by the way, is my name in Yugoslav. I did mean to say that, and it's a name my brother used to call me when we were younger, and I used to hate it, because it used to stir me up, because I used to hate anything Yugoslav or anything Hungarian, because that's my heritage. But as you get older, you really embrace it, and you start to, and because he's no longer with us, he passed when he was 19. Now all of those things are special, and that's where Zuska came from. She's my creative muse, I suppose.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, I meant to ask you about, where does the Zuskas come from, because it sounds actually quite Greek, doesn't it?
It's Yugoslav, or and I've got my Hungarian name is Zsuzsi, so it's they're hard to roll off the tongue, but they're really meaningful to me now, so yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and I can't pronounce it like you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us, and for those who are watching the replay, please get in touch for that introductory offer of $45 for a sound balancing session with Suzanne. You will love it. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Yeah, see you at the Riverland. Thanks everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.